Kenny, the red zone stuff, what'd you see there?
Yeah, couldn't run the ball in the red zone. You can't run the ball in the red zone. It's going to be hard because the field shrinks and their defensive backs are good players. So we had a plan. We're going to go back and look at it to see why we couldn't run the ball down there. But it was they're sound. They do what they do. They do multiple things. They did a good job. Credit to those guys for stopping the run.
And what about the 12-man on, especially after a penalty that they had?
Yeah, that was upsetting. That was upsetting. We got to be able to see that as a staff. That's my fault. We haven't, I don't know if that was our first, I think, penalty like that all year. And it happens in a critical moment that cost us 4 points. That's a tie game if that's not the case. So critical moment and 100% my fault.
I mean, just see my penalties in general today kind of affected you guys. What was that kind of the reason? You guys have been
Yeah, I believe we had 4 penalties for 35 yards or something like that. I think we had 35 yards penalties. So we're still keeping the penalties down, but they were crucial penalties. You know, you get a penalty that takes 4 points off the board, and then you get PI when a quarterback's scrambling and throws a chuck ball with 4 minutes left to go in the game. So it wasn't a matter of the sloppiness of penalties. It was a matter of the timely penalties were critical on pretty much the most important plays of the football game. We had 2 critical penalties.
You know this Cal defense is going to be a challenge. What did they show you today that had been different from what you saw on film?
Nothing.
Jordan Clark didn't go today, and you had guys get hurt during the game. Just to speak to the injuries.
Yeah, obviously Jordan was out, and then Mason went out at nickel. So we were doing our third nickel, and it's a pretty important thing in our defense. So I had to limit the calls, and then when Trey goes out, right, he's pretty important too. So all part of the challenges that we got to put together and come back and respond as a staff and put together the best plan for the guys that are on the field.
What about the 4th down you guys went to, and then they got the big touchdown after that? Short field for them, and you've shown you're going to go for it.
No, I did. I mean, we scored on the first down in the first half. We went for a 4th and 2 in the same area. Similar call, right, to that call, and we just got stoned that time. So one time it got us 7, the other time it lost us 7. So, I mean, it's half dozen one, half dozen another. But we're going to continue to be aggressive on the 4th and 2s. Paid off the first time, and we'll go look back at the tape and see why it didn't work the second time.
This was largely a field position game, and the disparity from a punting standpoint was pretty clear. So what do you make of that? And it's kind of been an issue.
Yeah, the special teams punt return trade-off right now is pretty drastic. I haven't looked at the stats, but I would say we lost over 50 yards minimum, maybe 60 yards. And when you lose 60 yards, that's at least 3 points. That's the entire field. That's probably more like 5 to 6 points on average, right? Just off of 60 yards of field position. So we got to look at that in our punt game because just right now that's been a struggle for us.
You seem to keep going to the Scatabo direct snap. Why do you like that so much, and how does that key to your offense?
Yeah, I mean, he's big, he runs hard, and when you do it fast, if we hit our tracks right, it's a very difficult thing to defend. You know, that's what we converted the first 4th down on last week. It was very successful for us. So we just got to, get a little bit of movement, and that's a gaps team. So that's a team that hops into gaps. So really everything just turns into, when you're in Wildcat, to one-on-one blocks with a man inside your gap, and you just don't allow penetration. The ball should bounce out the backside.
What was the message to the team afterward?
As we're getting closer, it's not good enough, right? But we're getting better. And every week we just got to get better. And it doesn't matter who's out. It doesn't matter who's going. It doesn't matter what's happening. Respond. You can either go back on Monday and quit or go back and compete. And right now we're getting better. And let's just keep going back to work and keep getting better.
How was the team the first time on the road?
I thought they were good. I thought they were fired up. Obviously, offensively, we had a few drops early. One on a critical 3rd down, another, that would have gotten us out of a backed up scenario that you don't like to have. So maybe a little bit of, excitement there. But I think the guys came out and they played really hard.
How would you? Thank you.
You're
How would you
welcome.
assess Trenton's overall play?
I thought he played really well. He took what the defense gave him. He had great poise, great pocket movement when he needed to. I thought he had a really good football game. That's a good defense. I mean, that's a team that I believe gave up 14 points to, or I know gave up 14 points to Auburn. And other than that, haven't allowed 21 points in a game. So that's a good football team. And, credit to that team and credit to Trenton for playing a good football game.
Was he limited? Did you see it all after that big hit at the end of the first half? Or
No,
he was able to...
no, he was able to come back. I mean, he was he didn't feel good, but he was, to say limited would be an excuse.
Good.